Primary ignition.
Welcome to Unlimited Power. My name is D-Rod, and here's my pre-release guide for playing Kylo Ren at your local Shadows of the Galaxy pre-release for Star Wars Unlimited trading card game. Now, Kylo Ren is going to be a very interesting card, and if you haven't watched any of my pre-release guides before, I want to start off by saying a lot of the cards I'm going to look at are going to be commons and uncommons. Now, Kylo has an ability that really works well with some of the rares and legendaries in this set, but unfortunately, rares and legendaries are going to be very limited in your pre-release box of 6 packs. So that's why we focus on some of the commons and uncommons that you're going to have easier access to. We really want to talk about how to build this deck and put a frame around it. Now, Kylo's unique, and I understand that he may not be for everyone, but if you're a fan of Kylo and really want to make him work in your pre-release deck, or maybe you got some of those rares and legendaries, then let's try to make him work. So looking at Kylo's leader card here, we see as an action, you can exhaust him to discard a card from your hand and give a unit +2/+0 for this phase. What's a good thing here is you are losing a card, but you're giving a unit +2/+0 for a whole phase, not for one attack, not for their next action or next attack. It's the whole phase. So we want to figure out how to abuse that where we can. Now, when Kylo gets deployed as an epic action, he can do this when you have 4 or more resources. This means turn 3 at the earliest. He's one of the quickest cards to hit play, and it can be very dangerous, right? He's a 5/4 unit that says this unit gets -1, -0 for each card in your hand. So the more cards in your hand, the weaker he is. So it's going to be kind of important to play a couple of low-cost cards, and I'm going to recommend you play a little bit more of the bounty game with him. Bounties are going to be low cost and give you some rewards. Focusing on low-cost bounties allow you to play more cards every turn. And so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the cards I'm going to recommend for you in this guide. In the leadership aspects of Red and Black, aggression and villainy, we're going to start with Krazantan. So he is a Wookiee from the Mandalorian stories, and not a character that I'm sure I pronounced correctly because I'm only semi-versed in Shriwook and pronunciations, but he's a 3/7 underworld bounty hunter. When you play him, if the enemy unit has a bounty, you may ready him. So that's going to be important to play those bounties. And on attack, you can choose a ground unit, and you may deal 1 damage to it for each damage on him. At 7 health, he should have some damage on him, and you should get some really good value at this guy. Next is going to be the Death Watch Loyalist, a character with grit and overwhelm. That's a 3 cost and a 3/3. He's just really well balanced. You may get a little bit more damage with him using Kylo's ability, because that overwhelm is going to make him really strong when you swing at a 5/3. Or if you're lucky enough and he has 2 damage on him already, that's a 7 damage overwhelming unit as early as turn 3 when it attacks. So pretty cool. Punishing One is going to be the next one here. 3 cost unit, that's a 3/4. When an upgraded unit, an enemy unit, is defeated, you may ready him. Use this ability once each round. Again, use Kylo's ability to give it that bonus. Play a bounty on someone, destroy that unit with the Punishing One, and swing again, right? Something to that nature. Make Kylo's ability work for you where you can. In the cunning aspect, we're going to take a look at one of the best cards in the set for uncommon space units, and it's going to be the Lurking TIE Phantom. It's a 2/2 unit that costs 3 with the Raid 2 ability. This means every time it attacks a unit or a base, it attacks at a +4. At a 4. And this unit's text reads that it cannot be defeated, captured, or damaged by enemy card abilities. The only way you're going to deal with this card is by swinging into it directly or attacking a unit head on. So it really forces your opponent to deal with it in the space lane. The next is going to be Chain Code Collector. We've talked about the importance of bounties, and Chain Code Collector is a great ambush unit. The ambush, it's low cost, he's a 4 cost, and he's a 4/2. When he ambushes in, if you attack a unit with a bounty, that unit's going to have a -4 attack for that whole attack action. So you can really keep him alive while removing cards from your opponent's deck. Removing cards from your opponent's field. As well as if they have a upgrade like this one, Wanted, you'll protect your unit, and Wanted is going to allow you to get 2 friendly resources readied. So this is going to allow you again to play more cards keeping your hand size low for the turn you want to deploy Kylo. In the aggression aspect, I'm going to recommend this uncommon guild target. Another zero cost bounty that says when you defeat the unit, deal 2 damage to the base, 3 if it's unique. Lot of unique units in this set, so I think we can make that work for us. Next is going to be IG-11, a unit that cannot be captured that costs 5 because he's a 6/5 unit that says if this unit would be captured, defeat him and deal 3 damage to each enemy ground unit instead. He would rather blow up the board than be hidden underneath one of your opponent's cards, and I think that's awesome. And on attack, you may deal 3 damage to a damaged ground unit. That's going to be important here. Damaging ground units is going to be great because you have that overwhelm ability on some of your cards. You can really make that kind of stuff work for you. So also can just finish off some of the units that are already in play. Detention Block Rescue is going to be another good one here. For 3 cost, you can deal 3 damage to a unit. If the unit's guarding any captured cards, 6 damage instead. It's no open fire, but 3 resources for 3 damage is a great trade-off for me when it's removing units from the board. It's low cost, so I can keep my hand low, benefiting Kylo when he's in play. For the vigilance aspect, let's not ignore the strongest event we've seen in this game, and it's a common Rival's Fall. It's going to defeat any unit for the cost of 6, leader, space, ground. Does not matter the amount of health it has, it can be destroyed. As far as upgrades go, there's 2 here I'm going to recommend for you. One of them is, of course, going to be Public Enemy. It's a zero cost unit here that, zero cost upgrade that you play on a unit. When you defeat the unit, you get a shield token. Sounds important to me. I like that. You're constantly swinging using a Kylo's ability, so protecting your units seems really strong. And here's a uncommon card upgrade that works really well with Kylo's ability because this is a card you can discard, and as an action, if an enemy unit was defeated this phase, you can play this card out of your discard pile for 2 resources. So feel free to discard this card all you want. Play it back on a unit. If your unit dies, that's okay. You'll get Brutal Traditions back when you defeat another unit and continue from there. In the command aspect, we're going to take a look at a few cards, but I think command is one of the weaker ones to pair with Kylo. So let's look at some key cards that may benefit you. Crosshair is going to be the first one. He's a 4-cost Imperial unit that's a 2/6. As an action, you can pay 2 resources to give him a +1 bonus, which is okay. And as a second action, you can exhaust him to deal damage equal to his power to an enemy ground unit. If you use Kylo's ability, you can give him +2, and he can deal 4 damage to a ground unit instead. That's probably going to be one of the strong benefits here with someone like Kylo. Next is going to be Scanning Officer. With smuggling being so prevalent in this set in a limited format, having a card that can look at your opponent's smuggle cards and remove them from play, remove them and put them in the discard pile is going to be a great card for you. And last is Mercenary Company, a reprint from Spark of Rebellion. It's just a great card with Ambush and Overwhelm. You know you can play it, and it can go out there and immediately start defeating units and getting some extra damage on that base with Overwhelm. In the villain aspect, one of the cards I think that will do really well with Kylo in a limited format is Toro Calican. He's a 3-cost unit that's a 3/5. When you play another bounty hunter, though, you can deal 1 damage to that bounty hunter, and if you do, ready Toro Calican. So let me set the scene. You have Kylo. You put out Toro Calican on turn 2. On turn 3, you discard a card. You give Toro Calican the +2 bonus, and he's now a 5/5. Toro Calican now attacks. He swings, hits your opponent's base for 5. Okay? You've discarded 1 card to make this happen, and you have 4 resources left, right? Now, play another bounty hunter. You play the bounty hunter, deal 1 damage to it, untap Toro Calican, and you attack again. That's 10 damage. Okay? Because you are on turn 4, because you have 4 resources now and you're on turn 3, you can deploy Kylo Ren. If you discarded a card and played a card, you're probably going to have a little bit of, you're going to be able to swing for a little bit. If you have no cards in your hand, you'll do 5 damage, but you may do 4 or 3. Either way, you're looking at 13 to 15 points of damage before the start of round 4 or of turn 4. That's super strong. That's the way you make him work. So Toro Calican, Kylo Ren, There you go. Next is going to be Black Sun Starfighter, a 3-drop that's a 3/2 Sentinel. Seems great. I like it. I think it's going to be a staple in a lot of villain decks. And next is going to be No Bargain. Hand disruption for your opponent, hand advantage for you. At a 3-cost card, you can make this work in your favor. Forces your opponent to get rid of a card of their choice, and you just get one more in your hand. Maybe what you need to get over the line here. And in the non-aspect cards, we're going to look at Rich Reward, a 1-cost upgrade that allows you to put experience tokens on up to 2 units. This is going to be a strong value here, keeping Kylo in play and some of your other low-cost units. The 5-cost unit Street Gang Recruiter, which is a 4/4 unit that returns Underworld cards from your discard pile to your hand. Since there's going to be a lot of Underworld and Bounty Hunter characters, this seems like a strong one for you. And lastly is Twin Pod Cloud Car, just probably a staple really in the sealed format for this set. It's a 3-cost 2/2 space unit with Restore 2. It's all value here. Your opponent has to deal with it in some way, or that Restore 2 is really going to add up. So here's my recommendation for all those wanting to play Kylo at their local pre-release. Let me know how it goes. Good luck to you. If you pull a rare or a legendary, let me know in the comments below, or just how everything went. Again, good luck to you later on this weekend with the pre-releases, and may the Force be with you.